Here's your wrestling news for October 27th, 2020. And your headlines for today include: WWE did a complete U-turn with Tucker now. What's next for him? Survivor Series match card released. Where does Drew McIntyre fit? Why MJF got death threats. The AEW star reacts. Backstage reaction in WWE after Drew McIntyre lost to Randy Orton at Hell in a Cell. With The Miz's loss on WWE Raw, can we buy into him as a future WWE champion? Why was Roman Reigns threatened by referee's son? Why Retribution lost their push in WWE? WWE engaged in legal battle with Kansas City Chiefs Chris Jones over Stone Cold name? WWE makes Undertaker Last Ride docuseries available for free. Police detain bus of indie wrestlers and find packages of cash in the gas tank, and more. We're kicking off today with the fallout from Hell in a Cell 2020 as the show saw Tucker turn on Otis, costing his former friend the Money in the Bank contract. In a post-match interview, Tucker defended himself, saying that he turned on Otis because of all the times he's had to stand on the side whilst Otis got the spotlight. But now we know more about the real reasons behind his heel turn. Ringside News is reporting that Tucker's heel turn was decided a week ago, and it wasn't something that had been discussed during the draft earlier this month or before Tucker's emotional Talking Smack promo when the pair had been split up. In the past, Vince McMahon has reportedly been high on Otis, though that optimism hasn't been shared by others backstage, and now that the master of the Caterpillar is now a former Mr. Money in the Bank, McMahon's support clearly wasn't enough to stop him from losing the briefcase to The Miz. Now, Tucker's heel turn at Hell in a Cell has made him one of WWE's most discussed superstars, a surprising situation for someone who couldn't get anyone to talk about him just 1 week ago. Though it seemed like the two would be on opposite brands and likely opposite teams at Survivor Series, WWE.com has thrown everyone for a loop as Tucker is now once again listed as a SmackDown superstar. Earlier this month, Tucker was drafted to Raw, and he cut an impassioned promo about Heavy Machinery splitting up, and whilst it's on WWE.com, this move back hasn't been confirmed by the company yet. Whilst some sources in WWE have said that they've got no idea what's going on with Tucker, one noted that if a decision has been made to move him, it must have been made late in the afternoon. Another source in WWE speculated that this might have been a website mix-up and that Tucker hasn't actually been moved to Team Blue, despite what the site says. The source added that there is a, quote, lack of organization, continuity, planning within WWE, and it's always entirely possible that Vince McMahon has changed his mind on Tucker's booking, as he has a tendency to do. On Twitter, Tucker sent out a tweet saying, "On my time," after Raw went off the air, as he's apparently going to keep fans guessing as well. Moving Tucker back to SmackDown would allow a feud with Otis to extend past next month's Survivor Series pay-per-view, and now that he's lost the contract, we expect Otis to be hungry for revenge. Speaking of Survivor Series, the show will take place on November 22nd, and this week's Raw saw a lot of build to the pay-per-view. On the show, AJ Styles defeated Jeff Hardy to earn a spot on the Raw Men's Survivor Series team, whilst Keith Lee also earned a spot by defeating Elias, who was distracted during the match by Hardy, showing that their feud is far from over. Sheamus earned the third spot on the team with a win over Matt Riddle, and though it's not been announced by WWE, Drew McIntyre will reportedly be Raw's team captain. This team will see one more member added and face 5 currently unknown members of SmackDown, whilst there will also be a 5-on-5 women's match. Raw's women's team will be Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, Lana, and the women's tag team champions Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, and they'll face 5 yet-to-be-announced SmackDown superstars. In a heel versus heel match, new WWE champion Randy Orton will face Universal champion Roman Reigns, whilst Raw's women's champion Asuka will face the new SmackDown women's champion Sasha Banks. Raw Tag Team Champions The New Day will face SmackDown Tag Team Champions The Street Profits, whilst US Champ Bobby Lashley will face the Blue Brand's Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn. Whilst this will be a stacked show, there's been no word yet if NXT will be involved like last year, and we'll have to see if the Gold Brand has another invasion of the main roster in the coming weeks. AEW news next, and MJF is one of the company's most natural and charismatic heels, but there's some so-called fans who don't like him for an entirely different reason. Though it's not discussed on Dynamite, MJF is Jewish, and during an episode of AEW Dark, was interviewed about the anti-Semitism he has endured, referencing a time in his youth playing football. He said, "The other kids didn't exactly love the fact that there was a Jewish kid taking their spot. I remember the next week, censored, and a band of douchebags walked up to me and they said, 'Hey, Jew boy,' and they threw rolls of quarters at me and they told me to pick it up. It messed me up pretty bad." MJF continued, saying that he used their anti-Semitism to motivate himself to be better, and said that the person who did this to him is now a drug addict and dropped out of college, whilst MJF is a very wealthy, very successful individual. Though that interview was in 2019, these hurtful comments haven't stopped, as MJF recently tweeted out that he continues to receive anti-Semitic posts and death threats. At this time, MJF is in an interesting storyline that may see him join the Inner Circle, and thankfully the group will be judging the cocky heel solely on his actions in the ring, and his faith won't be a factor. Back to WWE, and Hell in a Cell 2020 also saw Randy Orton win his 14th WWE World Championship, defeating Drew McIntyre inside the barbaric structure, which was a huge surprise for many. Not only was McIntyre the betting favorite going into the match, but he was actually booked to win, but WWE changed plans from the original finish. Fightful Select is reporting that the superstars backstage were also confused by the title change, adding, "Most of the wrestlers that we spoke to were also confused about the timing of the move, considering he was heavily protected from WrestleMania to SummerSlam and then beaten several times since." Now it'll be Orton who represents Raw against Roman Reigns at Survivor Series instead of McIntyre. And with the Orton-Reigns match being a heel versus heel dynamic, we're wondering why WWE took the title off their top babyface just weeks away from facing their top heel. Indie wrestling now, as a bus full of stars were recently detained by police under suspicious reasons. The incident was filmed by Lord Adrian of New Wrestling Entertainment, who's claiming that police stopped their bus and broke it before letting them continue. When a mechanic fixed the vehicle, they were later stopped by police again, who searched the vehicle and found packages of money in the gas tank. Adrian is also claiming that police were trying to force him to admit he owned the bus so they could arrest him, when he said that the bus was rented. When one officer said that the bus was being used as a front to smuggle items across the border, Adrian explained that the vehicle wasn't even going to Mexico. And we'll have more on this story as more details come to light. Speaking of Raw, The Miz won big at Hell in a Cell, capturing his second Money in the Bank briefcase, but his winning ways didn't continue on Raw. Losing to Drew McIntyre, there's an argument to be made that Miz really should have won his first match after capturing the briefcase, especially as the issue with Otis was that fans didn't take him seriously as a world title contender. We may have been able to forgive WWE if Drew had beaten Miz clean, as McIntyre is one of the company's top stars, but the odds were stacked against the Scotsman, who'd been through a table the night before, and the fact that he wasn't 100% was even brought up by the company. This November will mark 10 years since The Miz cashed in Money in the Bank on Randy Orton to become WWE Champion, and whilst the story at the time was that the sneaky Miz cashed in on a hurt Viper because he wasn't on Orton's level, it's worrying that 10 years later, the A-lister still isn't close to the Legend Killer's heights. SmackDown news now, as Roman Reigns demolished everyone last Sunday to retain his Universal title, and even referee Brian Nguyen felt the Tribal Chief's wrath. When Nguyen tried to stop the I Quit match on Jey Uso's behalf, Reigns tossed the official from the ring, drawing the ire of Brian's young son River. In a promo online, the youngster wore a hoodie with his dad's face on it and told the Universal Champion that he's coming for him. River's mother posted this video, which caught the attention of Adam Pearce online, and whilst Roman Reigns claims to be all about family right now, we all know that his quest to remain Universal Champion is his #1 priority. Retribution news next, and it's no secret that the group have lost steam lately, and now we know why. According to a source from WWE Creative, the group's slump is not a new reason at all. As it turns out, Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard simply lost interest in the group. Despite claiming to be a dominant force that'll destroy WWE, Retribution are yet to get a single legitimate win since their debut. And we can't help but wonder if the fact that the group consists of Paul Heyman guys and girls is a factor behind their lost momentum. Either way, it seems like Retribution are finally finished, and nothing short of a miracle will save the group at this stage. We're moving to the gridiron next, as NFL player Chris Jones is causing some real issues off the field for WWE. The owner of Stone Cold LLC, the Kansas City Chiefs defensive tackle, also released a drink called Stone Cold Jones Soda, which has led WWE to file a complaint on September 14th, which opposes Jones' trademark filing. The obvious dispute is that WWE feel that the Stone Cold term is synonymous with their brand and Steve Austin, though Stone Cold LLC responded on October 23rd, saying that the name is recognized by NFL fans as belonging to Chris Jones, and argued that there's no confusion between Stone Cold Jones and Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's also worth noting that Stone Cold LLC is also facing opposition from Jones Soda Company and Stone Cold Brewery, and although the company hasn't responded to those complaints, this name is proving to be a growing issue for Chris Jones. Back to Hell in a Cell, and before the show got underway, the kickoff show saw Elias appear, saying some things that riled up Jeff Jarrett. On the kickoff show, Elias sang a song about the name Jeff, citing both Jarrett and Jeff Hardy's very real past issues with substance abuse. Though Elias called Double J a junkie, that couldn't be further from the truth, as his appearance on the Hell in a Cell kickoff show was the same day that Jarrett celebrated 3 years of sobriety. Ironically, Elias's real name is Jeffrey Ciulo, and though it's unclear whether WWE were aware of Jarrett's accolade when deciding what Elias would call him, we'd like to send our congratulations to the Hall of Famer for this huge milestone. We're entering the Thunderdome next, as whilst the WWE has tried ways to leave the virtual fan venue behind, now the Amway Center may kick them from the building. Recently, John Alba was able to obtain a copy of WWE's lease with the city of Orlando, which reveals that the company's contract with the Amway Center runs out on November 24th, just 2 days after the Survivor Series pay-per-view. Right now, WWE is surveying other venues which they could use for their new home, and it makes sense that they'll have to leave the Amway Center soon, given that the Orlando Kings' new season will start in late December. We'll have to see where the WWE ends up, as it looks like they won't be having a full live crowd just yet, but whatever happens, their days in the Amway Center are officially numbered. Now, Sin Cara was released from WWE last December, but the company is making sure that the name stays with them. On October 21st, the company filed 2 separate trademarks on Sin Cara, in addition to the one they currently have for merchandising. After his release, Cara used the name at a AAA event, which didn't sit well with the company. And whilst he's still struggling with his new name Cinta de Oro, as a woman named Maria Zarate has claimed to own that name since 2016, we know that the Sin Cara brand will be staying with WWE. And we're ending with The Undertaker today, as the WWE is celebrating 30 years of the dead man and is doing everything they can to promote the Phenom. As part of their celebration, the company has made the Last Ride docuseries free to watch on the network, and now more people will get to experience the dead man's incredible career before Survivor Series, which will be themed all around the Phenom.